call the meeting to order. Does not appear we have anyone for citizens input. My understanding is the delegation is no longer coming.
Correct.
So I guess the next item will be additions and deletions from the agenda. There's no changes. Can we get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion carried. Minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
We have a motion and a second to approve those minutes. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carried. Financial reports. Anything you want to point out to us right away, Kevin?
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Any questions?
The archaeological has to do with checking the ground for what they're putting in. The intent is to build an emergency shelter there, and that had to be done, taking those core samples first to see if everything was as it should be and not anything, finding anything that's archaeological.
It's always so quiet.
They're a tough group.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to bring the cookies.
We'll wait if you will. Do you want us to break for that?
Have you started?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Reviewing bills,
I'm sorry.
no problem.
There's no questions or concerns on the bills. Can we get a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve the bills. Is there a second? A second. We have a motion and a second to approve the bills. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion carried. Department reports.
So we wrapped up a couple of programs. Actually, today, we wrapped up our youth tennis lessons that we do out at the 4-H grounds, and our level 3 swimming lessons is getting done this evening. Our youth wrestling program will start up next Tuesday. They had a parent meeting on Monday, the 11th here. And as of today, we have 85 signed up for wrestling, so that's a good number. So I think last year we had about 90, so that's a good number. So Todd had our men's basketball league meeting a couple weeks ago. We have 33 teams signed up for that, which is the most we've ever had. So yeah, so that's good. We decided not to, I put in there, we decided not to do our youth traveling league that we've had for quite a few years. We haven't gotten any boys teams for the last few years, and it was getting kind of tough with weather all the time. We had teams coming from out of town a lot, and had a lot of cancellations just because of weather and things. I mean, it's during the school year or during the week and stuff, and so we decided not to have that, which opened up more gym space for our men's league to go on that night. So that worked out pretty well for that. So that'll start up second week of January. And then we'll be meeting with the Daily Republic next week, next Tuesday, actually, it'll be now, to start working on the summer brochure. So we're in winter, but we're going to start working on the summer brochure already. As far as the rec center goes, we had our ribbon cutting yesterday, our official ribbon cutting on the new adult fitness room. So that was nice to get that officially going. We hosted a swim meet the first weekend in December. They had 290 swimmers, I believe. So it's the first one we've held in close to 2 years now. So it was good for everybody to get that under their belt again, and a few things both sides forgot. So we had, we wrote those down, and they were just minor things, but overall it went really well. So they were happy to get that under their belt, and so were we. So and then we've lined up some contractors to do painting, and then painting the rest of the facility. The color that's in the new room and in the hallway leading up to that, we're going to paint the rest of the walls in our building, those colors, along with the tile. Get rid of our old tile in there and retile that. So that'll all get done in January. So yeah, looking forward to getting that all done.
Steam room.
Oh, steam room is down again right now. We've been having some issues with our heat exchangers on there, and we got this one in March, I believe, and we're on our third set of heating elements now. We had the Muth Electric come in, and they're thinking that we don't have enough voltage maybe in our deal, so they're suggesting we go from a 208 to a 240. So they ordered that for us, and hopefully that comes by Monday or Tuesday, and we can get that in, and we don't have this issue anymore. So the company is very good about sending us the new heating elements. It's under warranty, so they're very good about doing that, but they're trying to check on their end too to figure out why these keep going out. But we think that this is the answer, hopefully. So
So keep sending free parts.
Yeah.
Doesn't always make everybody happy.
no, it does not.
It gets a lot of use.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we have a lot of members that's the only thing they do.
Just sit in
So,
the steamer.
yep.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yep. They do their stretching in there and
Oh,
a few exercises. They just
kind of like that. Hot.
hot yoga.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Kinda. Yep. Anybody else have any questions? All right.
At the Rice Arena, we're definitely in full swing of all our games. We've had 2 tournaments so far. This next week, we have Squirt Jamborees, 15 games. We don't have tournaments. They got league games going on. I think we've had pretty much every weekend filled. We might have had a night off, maybe a Friday night or something, but it's definitely busy in there. We're off the next 2 weekends for Christmas and the New Year's weekend, and then back again on the weekend of the 5th, where we have Pink the Rink on that Saturday, the 6th. Figure Skating had their holiday show last Sunday, and that ended their fall session, but they still have practice time set up through break, and then they start their second session, which is their first spring session, right after New Year's. That officially starts. Hockey hours through December. Hockey since the beginning of the year has 493.25 hours, 167 skaters, figure skating used 184 and a half hours with 38 skaters, which I think is a little bit down for figure skating, but about where hockey is. Staff will be dry shaving, edging, cleaning. We found a lot of light bulbs out, so we went to get more light bulbs. Those are, like everything else and some light bulbs outside, starting to be obsolete. Everything is changing to LEDs. We can't get them right now. We bought 4 cases that have 36 in each case, and we'll have, I think, 15 left over, so that's all the lights in the rink that are out, but we have found that some ballasts are, I think, are out in the south rink that are not over the rink, so we might be looking at changing those over to LEDs. I don't want to change the ballast and then have to change the ballast again once we go to LEDs at some point, so we'll look at that after the first year, get through the rest of those lights. Open skate between October 30th and December 6th had made $4,629. 41 bumper car rides, which we just have that open on the weekends now, so that's actually better than I thought it was going to be. 5.31% of the sales. In January, we'll be host the U.S. national hockey, sled hockey team is coming, and I heard they won the gold medal. They're coming to do some practices and work with the local sled team, I think, out of Sioux Falls. So we have a few days, I think a Wednesday through a Sunday, that they're going to be around doing some practicing there. So that
So
just,
are they using the both arenas or one arena or?
it'll just be one because they got scheduled practices during the day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then again at night. And I still have to talk to some hockey people because there is conflicts at night with practices. So they might be jumping on one rink, maybe jump in the other rink, but
I mean, I'm just interested in how the sled hockey, what is that? What is sled hockey?
sled hockey?
They're on like a sled, like you think.
Yeah, you sit down. Yeah, we have a couple of them for handicapped people. You sit in a seat and your feet go out, and then in front, there's not a blade. It's just something that kind of balances, but under you, on the ones that we have, are 2 blades like hockey skates.
Wow.
And then you have little sticks with little spikes on them where you push, and I think you can push and flip because the other end of them is kind of like the end of a hockey stick.
So is it a Paralympic
Yes.
sport?
Yep.
Cool, very cool.
So I believe that's how that works, when the ones that were set up. They have come, I think during the weekend of Pink the Rink last year or the year before.
Boys got to do it with them, they got to jump on the sleds. And
Was that last year?
incredibly difficult.
I
Yeah.
know it is. I'm trying to even imagine how you would do it. It sounds really hard.
Yeah, so they did kind of a little clinic and just kind of show what they do, so
Very cool.
they were coming back this year to do that again. Test years will be coming out. They came, we are going to put some snow guards above the, all the vents that we have on the north rink, and put some guards going around all the vents that we have. So when it does snow, hopefully we don't have as much and it doesn't blow through the snow guards again. We have extra guards guarding the vents that are there. Hopefully that does work. I still don't know for sure. They're also going to put a ladder on the west end of the building, so we don't have to get a lift or use an extension ladder anytime we want to get up there. And then it was around November 20th. I can't remember if that's the day I checked or the day that we did get a little bit of rain, but we did have one spot dripping. It was a very slow drip. It was in a spot that always drips every single time, and no other spots were dripping. So the little bit of work that Great Plains Roofing did, I believe, helped. It's hard to tell. It wasn't a lot of rain when we got that day or day before, but it wasn't a spot that always drips, and it was very slow where it was. Over at Cadwell, they got all the steel up for the new press box. One coat of paint over everything. They did a second coat where the press box is actually going. I believe they have that all framed up, ready to go, and I think the next step is windows, doors, and tin on the outside of the press box. And after that, I think it'll be enclosed and they can start electrical and everything else inside for it. So that's coming along. That's about it. Everything's closed up at soccer. So we're done out there. Any questions?
As you may recollect, Steve got to be gone this week on vacation, so good for him. A couple of things that came up for him while he was gone. John continues to clean up around the lake, John McLeod. Tonight they had a little get-together across the street at one of the local establishments to kind of celebrate and to talk about their year they had as far as cleaning up around the lake. And the guys have been hauling away from Camp Arroyo where they've been depositing much stuff as far as what they've been cutting down. A decoration blew off near one of the intersections over the weekend during that 45 to 50 mile an hour wind. It wasn't all the way down, but it was hanging. And I believe the tree across the street in front of the chamber had some issues too in terms of one of the panels coming loose, but it's back together again. And right before the parade, I saw some kids scurrying underneath it. Well, they figured out a different way to make that secure, so it's not just open to walk underneath it. It is loose panels that just fit together. That's it for his stuff, but I'm sure Steve will have much more when he gets back.
And I do have a question that I got from someone. They asked what is happening at Sandy Beach? All the digging that's going on at Sandy Beach, is that something, Steve, you would know? Would anyone know?
At Sandy Beach, not Public Beach, but Sandy Beach.
She said, I said what's
Ron.
going on up from Sandy Beach out here.
Up on top. That's
They were
actually,
digging and moving a lot of dirt.
that's a new detention pond, which is where
Oh,
all
there's
the
a
storm
pond.
drains
Okay,
are.
yeah, right, yeah, that's, okay.
And the golf course has been hauling much fill out of there as far as the gravel type fill to use for their remodeling or expansion, new holes next year. So free fill.
Okay, nice.
But it's just about done from what I could tell when Angel and I drove past there yesterday. We kept getting an update on that and Camp Arroyo.
Okay, yeah,
But if
that
you'd like
makes sense.
an update from engineering to know exactly when that's going to be done, I can get that for you. But
Okay, yeah. And that retention pond, as I understand, it's not going to be full all the time, it's just like a.
correct, it's a slowdown before.
Filter.
Correct.
Filtration.
Yep, that was a conversation we had yesterday too, saying, well, isn't that going to be a mosquito infestation? I said, no, I think it's just a slowdown.
Yeah.
It doesn't go dump directly into the lake, but it filters down.
Yeah, and there's probably some filtration that's going on as the water goes through, is that fair to assume?
Not an engineer, but I suspect that that's correct.
We would like to hope so.
Tree removal rates, that's something I'll have on, it's listed on the agenda, but it's not something we'll decide on tonight, but I'll present you with some information. I mentioned already about Camp Arroyo and John McLeod and the crew that's been cleaning up around the lake here just a moment ago. Cadwell, Jeremy gave a nice update on that. I talked about a public tree that we had that was removed within an alley behind, just off Minnesota. And I've not heard any more on that, but Steve has not heard back again this week, so I've not heard if there's been anything created to get the other tree out of there or not, but if there is one, they'll need to be paying for that because it is a live tree. Hitchcock ball diamonds, we'll be talking about that tonight as far as the lights out there. Cadwell Loop, that's something that was on the agenda tonight, is somebody wanted, if they came up with a plan to place equipment around that, and it'd be at no cost to the department. But since they were not both able to be here tonight, they postponed until next month because they'd both like to be here to discuss and present. Retaining wall at Public Beach, that was a question that came up from a council member about a month ago, saying, because we had a conversation with the neighbor whose property adjoins that, wondering if that's really going to happen. I assured him that it is in the budget to replace that vertical tile wall that's there with landscaping block this coming year. Safe room plan, we've still not heard for sure from FEMA, but that decision should be, we've been told December now for months, so hopefully it's within December that we find out. pickleball courts, they had to do an archaeological assessment for that as well. We're told that assessment will be completed this Friday, and back to the states, they'll have that information. Garbage cans, I kind of gave a rundown there on what's going on. Steve's crew removed the majority of them from Dry Run Creek. And as anybody might know, that's a 1 mile long trail, even though it's not 1 mile as the crow flies, there's a lot of wines going on in there. So there was some at one end and some at the other end, plus another at the shelter, not too far from the end. And somebody wrote me a letter indicating they would appreciate the garbage cans returned. Well, in order to return information to write, you can write as well. To be able to have to do that, or to have to do that versus just emailing or calling was a little bit of a different way of communication again. But it worked. We got a thank you in the mail again for taking care of that by just replacing a few garbage cans in between. So it was nice to be able to do that for somebody. Parade of Lights, I mentioned in here that we got to be a part of that. Well, my wife works at the chamber, so I got asked to be a part of that in terms of maybe because I'm such a statuesque figure out there on the street walking along, but it was so dark that I don't know if I could see any more of us except for holding out these glow sticks.
Thanks for doing that.
Well, and thankfully, kids for the most part stayed off the street and didn't come out searching to get them. We sent the curb lines and handed them out.
Was there a big crowd this year? I was not able to be there.
They had 1,000 glow sticks and we ran out 3 blocks and put in a parade.
Wow, that's fabulous.
That's
the first time I've had to miss it.
But it was warm.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Nothing
The
more or
near
less.
balmy weather.
Yes. Nothing more or less of specific questions for me.
Thanks, Kevin. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the 2024 Dakota Riptide Facility Use Agreement.
Want to highlight the changes there, Kevin?
So there actually isn't very many, there really wasn't any changes to the contract. We just met with them to kind of discuss going forward where their payments were going to go. And so we decided that the rate will stay the same for 2024, and we'll be receiving those funds through the rec center now. They were going to their loan payment, so they're going to be making extra payments. I think they're working that out with the mayor and Stephanie, extra payments towards their loan payment for the $290 that they owe, I think it is, or something. Or no, $190. Yeah, $198. So, but other than that, the contract will stay what it was just this past fall. We broke it up into 2 different contracts over the course of this last year, just having them get back up and running. And so this is what we came up with. Did you all get a chance to review it? If you have any questions about it?
So this is pretty
I'm
much
sorry.
typical of what it's always been. There's, aside from that highlighted area, there's no other changes.
Extension of the date.
What?
Extension of the date,
Yep.
basically.
This will go through December.
Okay. So nice to have them up and running again, and how's their membership?
I think they said they were around 60 right now, so
And when,
um,
when the pool went down, were they at 100?
they were close to 90, I think. So they're not too far off. They said all but probably 3 that went over to Sioux Falls, stayed in Sioux Falls, the rest came back. So,
Christian is doing a
Yep.
great job.
yeah, I think so. They're happy with him, and he's great to work with over there, so, yeah.
And it sounds like he's happy with the blend between part-time teaching and part-time coaching.
Oh, I didn't realize that he was doing part-time teaching.
Yeah.
Where?
Here at the Mitchell Lab.
Oh,
Yeah, I think he is at the high school. I know he went for math, but,
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
yep.
Awesome. When?
Did they share with you what they made on
No, they didn't. They didn't quite have all those done because we met with them like the Tuesday after they got done. So they thought they did pretty well, but they did, I don't know, they did give the city another check towards their payment as well. So from that meet, so and they're going to continue to do that throughout the year. So.
There's no further questions. Can we get a motion to approve the 2024 Dakota Riptide Facility Use Agreement?
I'll motion to approve.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 2024 Dakota Riptide Facility Use Agreement. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carried. Hitchcock baseball, softball field lights.
So a few weeks back, we had a request regarding Hitchcock baseball and softball field. My understanding is it's not been used in a number of years as far as the evening games. So the request was, can we check what it would take to get the lights in a working order again, or see how much of it actually does work. We had Booth Electric come out and look at it, and they presented us with a quote of what they believed it would cost us to put it together. It sounds fairly accurate. Steve pointed out that there was a couple of things there that perhaps were missing in terms of numbers of lights that might actually be burned out up in the poles and going up there working on that. So the quote they gave us just under $10,000, which could be pretty close in terms of putting that back together again, at least from what they've indicated for us.
What was wrong with them?
The, pull it up for you.
Sorry.
It's quite all right.
I was going to ask if you didn't.
They probably didn't turn it on.
Sure, make me the fall guy.
You're not.
She's the new kid.
Yeah. So they just making them work, is that all this was for? It wasn't replacing, like putting LED or anything?
No, it was not. But it was changing out the electrical box, the service box, and things like that, so. Demoed the steel box and installed new, a 200 amp disconnect, two 100 amp disconnects, a 60 amp disconnect, and installed 6 new circuit panels on the poles, re-aimed the lights that are out of whack. And I won't want beyond that in there, but the boxes that were there, as I indicated, that the interested party, that they have, basically they're not the new breakers, they're like a fuse type, so we can take a little bit of updating on that. And I'm satisfied with what they provided us. I guess it wasn't under 10 grand, it was just over 9 grand to get that going again. So I was requested to bring this to the meeting today just to talk about it. As far as it being something we could take care of next year out of the budget, anything that's over $5,000 is considered to be a capital item in terms of us budgeting for it. When it comes to maintenance and our budget for maintenance and repairs, we are requested by line to go through and say what we want to request for the next year. And if it's a change from what the previous year was, we end up with doing an actual, or our administrator does, takes the actual and then factors in what the average was for the last 3 years in terms of what's budgeted for the next year. So as far as saying, yep, there's an extra 9 grand in the budget to be able to work with that repair and maintenance, not likely. We don't know that for certain, but not likely. The question was raised, could somebody do fundraising to make that happen? We'd be open to that.
What about some of the fees we've collected? I know it's been 3 years, we've been collecting the capital improvement fees from all the different groups. I mean, they should have some money there from the travel teams.
Right.
I don't know what the balances are, it's been a while since I've seen.
I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head, either. We could look at that. Do you know off the top of your head what our capital improvement fees are?
How much use would this actually get for doing?
It gets used for practices and for some games, but as far as at night, again, it hasn't been used at night in a long time.
If it was operating, would it be used?
Yeah.
I mean, is there the need for it, I guess what I'm asking, is there a need to have it?
On that particular night, there's limited fields available because they do use Wednesdays at other night fields. That's the tough part, because it's teams from other communities that play with that league on that night, so it's not like they could just say, well, let's everybody move to Tuesdays. No, you gotta go on the night where everybody's playing, or you can't provide a site for the team to be part of that rotation, so I understand that component with it. And it is on the men's league night, being Wednesday night, Danny, right? We can look at that capital improvement fee and see what's there.
Jeremy, what's the cost for bowls and how many bowls are out there?
I'm not sure over there. They have a different kind than what we use. I don't,
Just a rough estimate. What if every bowl needs replaced?
if they use the same as ours is $85 a bulb. But
Rough estimate how many bowls are out there?
I don't, we don't take care of Hitchcock. I mean, we drag it. I would say there's probably 5 poles with 6 to 8 lights on them. I know they're smaller.
Steve said they look something like what you would find as far as a regular
They're probably more the size from our,
construction light type of thing.
of our parking lot lights, or the lights that are,
They're rectangular?
yes.
No.
I bet they're the size that are like behind the stadium, the security lights. So they're gonna be a little bit cheaper. But I think the problem with this is the electrical box, the disconnects.
I mean, I would assume after 17 years, though, we're going to have to replace every bulb.
They
What do you
turn
think?
on, but they didn't, Steve didn't think they did a count on what was actually
Oh.
not working and working. So some were working. Yeah, me too. But again, we can look at the capital improvement fee, see what that account is sitting at.
I have all that broken down so I can separate all the travel teams for the years since we've been doing it, and I can get a number from the money we've gotten from travel teams.
And it is teams that go through Jeremy, that the schedule, and it sounds like they've been asking about that field for at least 2 years.
3 years they've been trying to get lights, trying to play at night over there.
So it's worth looking at.
Will we know next meeting where we're at as far as dollars and what we need to do to make this happen? Due to the fact that we want to be coming down this summer. We kind of make known, is it a possibility that they'd be able to use that?
Right. We can talk and see what Jeremy's got available in that account. That doesn't mean necessarily we should apply all of that field.
That's fine with me. If it's okay with you, it's okay with me. I mean, I think we need to get those lights up and going. If we don't, they're just never gonna work anymore.
Right.
The price is only gonna go up.
Okay.
Well, if it gets functional, then softball, I mean, some other softball teams
Yep,
would probably
yeah.
jump in and say,
Probably cheaper a couple of years ago, too.
I mean, once people know about it, it's as another option,
Right.
they're gonna use, I mean, it'll get utilized by
Yep.
other entities besides whoever's required.
Other repairs that were needed out there, I went around and inspected and left Steve a small list. There were some boards along the base of the backstop and the lights, and along the fences that had toward the sidelines that were needing some replacement, but it wasn't extensive by any means.
I mean, I feel like this is just a cost of maintaining our facilities and taking care of what we have, so we've got to reinvest in order to, I mean, someone put lights up there to begin with, so we need to,
What's the, does the city, doesn't, the lights that are on the middle school football field, that doesn't have anything to do with the city, right?
No,
Okay, because I think those are the same lights that are on that.
they do look the same. Those might be bigger, but they do look the same,
They're-
yeah.
I think they're the rectangular.
They are the rectangular ones, but they could be
I don't
bigger.
see them turned on in years either.
I hope not. They got wires just flapping around all over on one of those poles.
With a machete and-
Yeah.
Let us do some more digging, find out what exactly we have available for resources. And if someone would check from the other end to see if, let's say that we've come up with half of that. Can somebody investigate and see, is there a possibility to where, would it be the baseball association or a specific team, or who would come up with the dollars in order to?
That's going to be tough to try to pin down a team because that is a 12-year-old field, so 11 and 12-year-old, it gets rotated over and over, and these are not like an association, these groups of,
Okay,
these teams that play there. It's more a dad coaching
gotcha.
his kid's 12-year-old team, and next year they're gone. Another 12-year-old team jumps in, but it is one of Hitchcock, Northridge, Patton Young. Those are the three main fields that those kids want. Those are the 12-year-old fields, the better fields. Those are always the first ones taken at our meeting in the spring.
Again, Jeremy and I will meet here in the coming week or two. And, except you're going tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll have those numbers Monday, though.
Okay.
Thank you. We need a motion to enter into an executive session. Anyone?
nobody wants to be
We have a motion, we get a second. We have a motion and a second to enter into executive session. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carried. is, I have down January 11th at 6 PM. Something for general, as long as we get the majority here.
Here.
All right. We'll leave it at that then, meeting adjourned.